Hello, everyone. I'm Tiffany Vignel, and I work with F6S for Circuloos. So welcome to this webinar that is going to last for 60 minutes roughly, and where we will guide you through the open calls 2 and 3.1. So here, normally you can see the agenda. So we will start with a presentation of the project overall, and this introduction will be done by European Dynamics. Then I will guide you through the open call guidelines, how to apply, introduction to the steps necessary, what we're looking for, etc., etc. Then I will leave the floor to Francisco for an architecture overview of Circuloos. And then if you can see the second page of the agenda, we will go through a tool description of the providers, then a pilot's overview. And then we will leave a little bit of time for a Q&A from all partners, so whether technical or more administrative. And we'll also talk you through the next steps for the rest of the open calls and for the rest of the project. So hopefully we'll fit all of this in 1 hour. So I'm going to stop sharing the agenda and we can actually start. Unless you have preliminary questions. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so welcome from my side. I'm Anastasia Garbi from European Dynamics. I'm coordinating this project, and I want to introduce a little bit the main concepts of it. Yes, we have actually, we are planning to open 3 open calls, still 3 open calls. The open call 2 is already published, and 2 open calls for coming. One in the next days, that is called 3.1, and we'll explain a little bit about this also today, since it is about to open. It was planned to open with open call 2, but there are some technical problems, and we open it in a couple of days. And there is a similar call to the open call 3.1 that is coming maybe in around 6 to 9 months. The project aims to introduce, let's say, the concept of circularity to small manufacturing companies in Europe, and to provide some digital tools and help them to adopt innovative practices for entering in this domain. Yes, sorry. We are adopting these 3 key strategies. One is that we're working on orchestration and optimizing supply chain. So we are looking at the sustainability across the supply chain of a product and not within one company, as we know that if we focus only on one company, then and we don't support the whole supply chain, then the product doesn't fully comply with sustainability improvements. The seamless, then the second strategy is the integration of monitoring and planning of the production line, so that we can organize these supply chains and gather information about the production to calculate this sustainability indices across it. And then, yes, we work on this calculation of the sustainability indices, and we will show you how this, what tools we are proposing for this. So we have 4 main objectives. We are working on the data sharing about so that we can use data of each other in the supply chain to collaborate and build these sustainable lines, let's say. We are working on the evaluation of the LCA across the supply chain, like we introduced already, and we are building a secure data exchange framework so that the data can be shared among the partners and support the calculation of the indices for the final product. We are looking for novel ideas for new circular products and supply chains, and we are looking forward to receiving this from this call. The fourth objective that is supporting this objective is the funding of these circular teams. So we have these open calls to bring us these new ideas. And then we want to gather all this ecosystem that we built together with our pilots, existing pilots, and the new ones that we will have in a circularity hub. So we build the RAMP marketplace. RAMP, maybe some of you already know, it's already a marketplace for bringing together people in the robotics and automation world, so manufacturing SMEs and the providers of them, and also digital innovation hubs. So the new ones that will come and register there also contribute to extend this community. And we are hoping with the Open Call 3.2 in the future, we will even extend the pilot, our pilots and the new experiments that you will deliver, the successful applicants in this Open Call 2. Will be able to bring to build more value chain actors, let's say, and extend the value chains through this platform. So I give the floor to Francisco to introduce a little bit the architecture of our approach.
Great. Thank you, Anastasia. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I hope you now see my presentation in full screen. Well, my name is Francisco Melendez. I work at Fiber Foundation, and I am responsible for the coordination of the architecture development and let's say the overall integration of Circuloos components and tools. Well, what I have prepared today is kind of an introduction so that we all on board in the overall concept of what the open calls are targeting for in the execution of experiments. And then my colleagues will deep dive into the specifics of each tool and Circuloos components. So something that is quite relevant to have as a core conceptual framework is that Circuloos is kind of replicating the typical model of ICT services in which different distributed microservices are able to operate together with good orchestration features so that in the end the value is delivered to the final stakeholders. Replicating that concept for the circular supply chains, the core concepts are that products to the system or to the architecture are considered these kind of resources that are being transformed step by step throughout their lifetime, and each transformation is kind of a key milestone in this product life cycle. Then the circular manufacturing services are, let's say, black boxes that are in charge of executing a series of steps to transform the product from one milestone to the next one. And then our view for the manufacturers is that these entities are the ones providing this transformation as service providers. And by connecting these different endpoints, we end up building this circular supply chain. So with that conceptual framework in our mindsets, we could jump into some details about the vision we do have with our architecture. Well, if you see at the bottom, we do have the real world, the physical process in these transformations that are affecting the products. To us, what is represented at the bottom is just a value chain, one single value chain. in that chain, each manufacturer or recycling company or every single organization is responsible for providing at least one service. It could be offering more than one services. And the very first and core challenge to help accelerate this physical process and their synergies is to be able to generate data and to put it available. And at the same time, taking care of the sovereignty, trustworthiness that is necessary for those data that are going to be shared across different parties. So for that thing, for the data acquisition and for making the data available to the joint purpose, it is this concept of the local data layer. And Circuloos is offering to you a tool, a platform that allows each of the parties to serve the data to the joint platform. At the third level, there is a global data layer where participants can share their data. And in that layer, what we do have is some kind of a smart instance of the physical processes. And the core point in Circuloos is that these digital replicas of the physical processes are well defined and built on open standards for modeling the processes, the service models, and let's say the data structures that are capturing the essence of a circular or sustainable product life cycle. So if we try to deliver a vision in that global data layer, there will be a number of processes with different statuses reporting on how the product is being transformed and how the actors are interacting with it. And thanks to the entire infrastructure, which should be almost transparent to the primary actors, the joint performance is achieved. And this is the core part for the technical infrastructure and goals, but there is also a, let's say, human, social part for this architecture to be truly operative. And in that thing, we could consider roles: facilitators, accelerators, amplifiers, multipliers for these realities, this vision to be realized. And in this line, we are considering roles such as the tech providers for AI data and robotics solutions, enabling these trustable processes in circular manufacturing value chain. And then we do have the role of academic and research institutes in exploring innovative solutions, in doing the tech transfer to the real pilots, and then the DIHs and business support entities in being the actual organizations, bringing the necessary dynamics to the interaction across the different parties so that they, let's say, on board on the philosophy and at least give a try on realizing this concept. This is more or less the vision. And now I'm going to present a bit more technical for those who are looking to understand a bit the how. How are we going to implement this in practice? If you see in here, I do have the same diagram I had before, but now with an implementation angle. We do have our value chain. Each of the actors rely on a particular instance of an IoT platform that is serving the data. You will be given the details in the next presentations. And then, thanks to the local part of the platform, we can assume that we jump into an structured data layer where all the interfaces are standardized using, as Anastasia mentioned, using Fireware, using NGSILD, which is a term that somehow during the experiments you will be familiar with, using smart data models, so standardized templates for the data payloads that are being exchanged. And thanks to that standardization, every single party can just provide and consume data to a central platform, which is hosted and maintained by European Dynamics, and is the one that will allow the different interactions across parties. Having said that, another thing that is given to you is the necessary framework to ensure that we are in a cyber secure environment, and data sharing relies on the necessary trustworthy mechanism so that for you it's again transparent, the interaction, once you are able to put your data available through the local platform. On top of the framework, there is this part of the added value services that Circuloos is offering. In particular, as Anastasia also said, the orchestration, the virtualization, or even the application of optimization services are some of the tools that we are giving to you off the shelf. And another core part is the assessment of the life cycle of the product in terms of circularity and sustainability. Last but not least, and again, with this relevant consideration of the social dimension of everything we do, there is the marketplace view. And in the marketplace is where you can register your organization, where you can reach out to the parties that could help you achieve your objectives, and where the different matchmakings and relationships are rated to put the entire infrastructure at work. I have another level to mention in here, and is the contribution of innovative solutions for enhanced manufacturing processes, leveraging AI and robotics. And why? Because, well, it is extremely challenging if you address Circuloos as being responsible for implementing the AI and robotics up to the life cycle assessment. What you need to do with these innovative solutions is just to ensure that precisely because of these advanced technologies, the readiness of the information in a digital shape, let's say, you are able to generate the data better than before, because thanks to the automation, the process is traceable, because the advanced devices are already serving the data in a usable manner. This is the core part for the contributions at the physical process level. And with this, I think you have now an overall view of what is the architecture supporting the implementation. Please note that I have highlighted in yellow building blocks that are mandatory to every single concept in the implementation of Circuloos open call concepts, while the white ones with orchestrations, digital twin, optimization have an optional nature, and you should focus on those who you identify as particularly relevant. There is no limit. If you think that you should go for the three of them, it is perfectly fine. That is more or less what I wanted to tell you, but I wanted to close my presentation with a relevant remark. Circuloos is approaching the acceleration of circular supply chains through digital tools and through the convenient usage of data. So please, I have pasted in here highlights of the requirements for Open Call 2 and Open Call 3. You must keep in mind that whatever idea, whatever concept that you are working on related to these requirements should somehow have a roadmap in which convenient data is generated. That data can be collected and served to a platform where the data sharing across parties makes the difference and creates added value. If at some point you have an idea that could be really good for your domain, for your case, but you are not able to ground it in a way that convenient data is generated and the digital tools serve to accelerate your case, it will be really difficult to compile a competitive proposal to the calls. And this is kind of the takeaway message. This is more or less what I had. I will be open to any questions that you may have. And now the next presentations will focus on the details around tool descriptions and the pilots that we already have on board in Circuloos. Thank you.
So I will also be sharing my screen and focus more on the application system. Okay. So I'm gonna get more in depth into the details that are not technical about the project, the description of what we're looking for, eligibility key points, as well as financing. So we're gonna tackle mostly the open call 2 for now at the beginning that is currently open. So we are now in the open call 2. Open call 3.1 will be open shortly, but let's start with the second open call. So it's open now, and we are having our first webinar to guide you through the guidelines of the application, and we will have another webinar in a month from now, a second one. And this open call lasts for 2 months, so it will close at the end of May. So we're covering integrally April and May. So when we're talking about what we're looking for, we are primarily looking for supply chains when it comes to manufacturing in order to develop, I'm sorry, there is a little bit of an issue. Whoops, apologies. For some reason, I have technical issues, sorry. So we are looking at manufacturing supply chains to develop a circular product of service. And by doing that, adopting one of the R strategies that we are describing underneath, recycling, remanufacturing, repairing, refurbishing, and or to add value to the chain and production lines. So, okay, it's working fine. So focusing on the open call 2, the main requirement and the first one that we're going to talk about is that you apply as a consortium of 2 to 4 entities and not as a single entity. So in order to access the funding, you have to be a consortium, which will allow you to access funds up to 60,000 per partner, meaning up to 200K per consortium as a total lump sum. And we will be considering up to 16 consortia in total within the project. And these funds will be allocated based on a successful delivery of both technical and business reports. Along the duration of the project, which is up to a year, 12 months fully. These consortia of 2 to 4 entities develop solutions that we started talking a little bit, but that extend product life cycles with the strategies that we mentioned, integrate tools from the Circuloos project. They can be digital, robotic, IT, or others if they are necessary to support the new supply chain that you're developing. And they have to confirm an improvement of a life cycle compared to a non-circular supply chain. And it will include the development of new products and business models. And you'll have more details in the guide of applicants that is available on the website. Now I'm gonna let Anastasia from European Dynamics to dive a little bit more
Yes,
into.
I wanted to thank you, Tiffany, to give some more ideas about the no, can you please keep the head? About the our strategies that we are looking for. So we have a very high level example here that we can increase, let's say, the sustainability as we move towards the top of this opposite pyramid. So as we take a product at the end of life and we extend its life as it is, then we reduce the material that go towards the bottom of this pyramid. So we are looking for enhancing ways to keep and extend an existing product with new new supporting entities in the supply chain that were not originally foreseen. Then, if we see that the product can be split in pieces or parts, and we can extend the parts life. This we can call in the concept of recycle. So again, we reduce the materials that go to the lower levels. And if we could go, none of the above is possible. That's an example, okay? And we let you think other ideas for refurbish or remanufacture or whatever you think it fits. But the idea is that as we go down to this corner of the pyramid at the bottom, we have reduced the material that goes to the landfill at the end. And in the last example here at the recover, we take we decompose, let's say, the original product to its material, and we put it for making available for something new. In the next slide, we have an example of a company that is giving us in the literature a concept for this. We have a company that is working with carpets at the end of life, and they provide alternative value chains for each of these repair strategies. So they take the carpet, and when maybe we can go to the next slide. The interesting thing is that they take one product and they build 3 different supply chains, and they explore the products at different with different functions, let's say. So the first one, for example, the reuse. If here at the bottom corner you can see the source of this, they have a supply chain that collects the carpets at the end of life, and they process it and clean and repair it, and we believe this is called reuse. And then they cooperate with charities who get it at a lower price or even for free. And this is very good because we avoid to put it in the landfill, as we said. Then the second, please next. The second value chain they build is to process the carpets that cannot be used as a whole, as a product, because they are damaged. They cut it in pieces, shred, and process them in pieces. And they have created a very new design concept with designers and other suppliers, manufacturers for buildings. So they build a new carpets designs that are exploiting pieces of previous carpets that are look very, very nice and new. And the last part, the carpets that cannot form any of these value chains, they are decomposed into fibers and energy, and they give it as raw material, let's say, as energy and fiber. So that's for us some interesting example. We want to emphasize we don't want to stay in these examples. We think it's interesting concept to show that different value chains form around the same product and with same key player, and have a thought of new ways to process it and connect in the market to reduce the material that is going at the end of life to the landfill. Back to you, Tiffen. Tiffen, we don't hear you.
Now you can. Good.
Yes, now-
So we will go back a little bit deeper into the funding. So for each project that applies, the applicable rate is 60% of the eligible costs as a whole for profit-making entities, or 100% if your project is non-profit or an academic organization. It's important to keep in mind that applicants receive up to 60% of funding from the project for the Open Call 2, but they must contribute 40% of their own funds. So when it comes to the development of this open call, how it works is that each consortium develops circular solutions that extend the product life cycles by implementing the R strategies that we talked about, integrate the tools that Circuloos provides to track material flows, and also optimize the value of the value chains of operations. Develop new tools, whether they would be digital, IT, robotic, or others, or combined, to support the strategy that they are developing, and validate the sustainability impact through life cycle assessment and supply chain data sharing. And finally, that they develop novel products and business models, reducing the reliance on virgin/new materials. We will briefly describe the Open Call 3.1 that will be opening soon. This Open Call will enable the extension of pilots and/or newly established value chains. So new MSMEs join the pre-existing consortia to either benefit or contribute to the established value chain. So either extending and scaling it up to improve the performance of sustainability, with a side note that some technical activity is needed to integrate to the Circuloos digital tools, and they will build on the existing pilots. But this will open a new second round of funding, which will be applied next year of up to 60,000 per new entity. And these participants will collaborate with pilot stakeholders that we will describe further a little bit later, to introduce new R strategies, so expanding recovery and reuse options within the pilot industries, enhance existing processes, so either improving sorting, remanufacturing, or recycling efficiency, and finally validate and refine the digital tools that were developed within Circuloos, using real-world data to optimize the life cycle and tracking and sustainability assessment. So where can you apply to these open calls? So on the F6S platform, you have the open call to page to apply with also further information that is already available. And you can either directly scan these QR codes or go on our webpage and go to Circuloos open call /2 and apply. And the process is you present a form that will be that will go through F6S. If your project is eligible, you will get to you will go through an evaluation composed of both external and internal evaluators. And if the evaluation is positive, there will be a consensus meeting that will lead to a pre-selection, the signature of a sub-guarantee agreement, and then the 3 phases of funding during the open call of the project, 30% for phase 1 and 2, and then the last 40% in phase 3. And that will lead to your impact assessment at the end of this monitoring phase. So
I want to introduce the pilot. So we have 3 already involved in the project. These are the one in Spain that includes 3 entities that works with plastic parts and recycling plastic waste. The second one is in Hungary that is focusing on leather material and builds a value chain to take a scrap of one company and use it as a source for the other company to produce smaller products. We'll have more details now in a few minutes. And the third one is in the Netherlands, and this includes 3 entities again, which are trying to work on the wood for various applications, furniture or constructions for exhibitions. And the idea is again to organize a value chain where the wood is reused and disassembled. So that we are working here on as a service concept. And we will hear a little bit more about this. Okay, then we go to present the tools. Maybe Panos, you can start.
Yes, hello. Yes.
Just a minute to interrupt. Sorry for this, because I see this question. We have prepared here very short introduction to the tools, and we are planning to some descriptions of them and clarifications about the mandatory and optional, and some more details about what we are looking at in the guidelines. And we will publish some information about the tools in the website. But also we are planning a dedicated webinar to present the tools in more detail. Yes, Panos.
So I will, okay, very briefly give an overview of some of the tools, and my colleagues will continue. So first, we'll talk about what we call the process orchestrator and also the Circuloos data platform. It is a combination of them. And also about the marketplace, the app.eu. So the idea is to enable the orchestration of production and business processes across the supply chain. And I will give you a bit, I will explain that in a moment. So the process orchestrator is a tool where we can design and edit processes in diagrams that are understandable by also by, let's say, business level stakeholders, and it allows the communication of the process with the more technical people. It allows us to combine processes with across different models. It automatically takes care of the execution of the process by assigning tasks to workers and devices, and with automated decision making based on data and input from user. And it also provides a dashboard to monitor the current process. So the idea where we can apply it also to intra-actor processes, also across the supply chain, is that each actor, so one actor can be one factory, another actor another factory, a supplier, etc. The process orchestrator can manage both the in-actor process of the production, but also the combination of the supply chain process across the different actors. So it is integrated with the Circuloos data platform that gathers the data from the shop floor, and also with the ramp.eu, the marketplace, where data that is stored there is automatically available. By also using the optimization component that you will see up next, we can optimize either the process itself across the supply chain, or certain aspects that we want to optimize, and utilizing the data that we collect in the Circuloos data platform. About the marketplace, like I said, once we connect our sensors and local data to the Circuloos data platform, everything is directly available on ramp.eu. So it essentially acts as a user interface to the data platform. So that includes, for example, automated creation of reusable material and waste that can be for sale. And we can also facilitate further matchmaking by defining what our factory produces, consumes, and this information is also available, can be made available on RAMP. So what is the Circuloos data platform? Is what you like you have seen previously on Francisco's presentation, is we have a central platform where the data is collected. And the idea is that usually SMEs do not have the experience or the expertise to digitize their production. So we provide this as a standardized component to allow connecting sensors and devices, and gather this data and make it available to RAMP, and reuse it with other further applications. Also, it allows us to easily, as everything is standardized, it allows us to easily extend and add new components. So the objective that we will have in the experiment is that we will need to use specific the unified data models for the data that we have there. So we keep everything compatible across each other. And you will have support and examples for the data models that need to be used. You can also already check the GitHub link there. And like Francisco said, we will be using the NGSI LD standards and using the Circuloos agents. You will be able to connect to the data platform and also even connect other new components that you would like to have or for the experiment. So within the experiment, you will be required to create the specific data model that reflects the product or the production line of this experiment. Again, you will find an example, and you will have support from us. If the existing fiber agents are not already there, you will need to adapt the Circuloos agent to connect maybe some specific devices or machines to the Circuloos data platform. And with our support, we will link your marketplace account with your specific Circuloos data platform to make this so you will be able to use it from the web. Yes, that is all of this week. So.
Okay, so welcome also from my side. I'm Riccardo Canavesi, researcher at SUPSI. And SUPSI act in this project as sustainability expert to make LCA assessment. So before going detail of our tool that is called Greta, I want just to clarify that in this project, the sustainability aspect is taken into account and plays a crucial role. We applied the LCA, so life cycle assessment methodologies that help us to understand per each process what is the impact on the environment. So calculating what we call environmental footprint. So we basically collect all the input per each process. That can be a specific process or some of the process that compose a product, and we were able to evaluate the environmental impact of those processes or products. We built a tool in our university that is called Greta, that is a web application that is designed to make the assessment of sustainability. In this project, we focus just on LCA, so the environmental part, and we are able to make both the assessment, so understanding the impact of the specific product or processes, or we can have also a functionality that we call a comparison. So we are able to compare different scenarios and understand which is better in terms of sustainability. Greta, as I mentioned before, can act directly on a specific company or single value chain, so providing some support during the design, lower the impact of selecting some raw materials, calculating the emission of production distribution, and also focusing on the loop cycle for the air strategies. Greta can also help users and consortia in analyzing different value chains. So we are able to compare different scenarios, to be scenarios, and understanding which is the best one in terms of sustainability. So in this project, Greta is connected with the RAMP data platform and is able to automatically retrieve some data and make a real-time assessment. Greta can be used to compare, as I mentioned before, different scenarios, so understanding which value chain is better respect to another, and can be used directly, because we have a user interface, directly by the user to make some assessment and make some informed decision. Okay, I will leave the floor to Anatoly for the next presentation.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Anatoli Giola. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at Cyprus University of Technology. Cyprus University of Technology is responsible for two tools of the Circuloos platform. The first one is the Supply Chain Digital Twin, the SCDT. So the Supply Chain Digital Twin is a tool used to simulate and visualize the factory operation and its supply chain arrangement. The SCDT uses the data available on the data platform to provide a visual representation of the factory inputs, outputs, and internal processes, as well as the interaction between the factories in the supply chain. Also, it provides detailed information about simulated entities of the factory logistics, such as factory resources, products, status of internal processes, waste, buffer zones, CO2 emissions or energy consumption, as well as the interaction between the factory, suppliers, and consumers in the supply chain. Moreover, the SCDT can be used with alternative scenarios for circular intra-factory logistics and circular supply chain arrangements. The SCDT provides an abstract visualization of the intrafactory operations with respect to the input materials, output products, processes, and waste of scrap. And by clicking on each of the processes or buffers, you can see the running information about the status of each entity of the factory. In addition to the intrafactory operation, the SCDT provides the supply chain representation of interaction with the actors of the supply chain. And this is an example of representation of interaction of 5 factories participating in the supply chain. Similarly, with the case of intrafactory representation, in the supply chain representation, you can also click on any of the processes, inputs, and outputs of each of the factories to monitor the state of the processes of each factory. The second tool is the supply chain optimization, the SCOPT. The supply chain optimization is the tool that yields optimal or optionally suboptimal results for intrafactory manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain arrangements. The SCOPT identifies valid intrafactory processes arrangements and as well as valid supply chain arrangement, and it provides recommendations for the intrafactory and supply chain arrangements. And here you can see an example of intrafactory logistics and supply chain arrangement. And we are considering that the factory X that faces the problem of deciding from where to receive its input resources, what types of processes to implement, what to do with the waste products, and what is the size of the buffer that is going to use for its input, output, and storage. And also there are several options for the supply chain. So in this example, the SCOPT can provide valid arrangements of the supply chain and valid arrangements of intrafactory operations, and also the capability to look into providing optimal solutions for such arrangements. This is it. Thank you.
So welcome also from my side. I'm Andrea Bettoni from the University of Applied Sciences of Southern Switzerland, SUPSI. Within the Circuloos project, I'm responsible for the internal pilots execution. And since one of the options that we have in the open calls is to interact with the already existing pilots by expanding them, I will give you a quick introduction because we are running out of time, by the way, and we have a lot of questions, which is very good, about these 3 pilots. So basically, as it has been already introduced, we have 3 pilots. One is on the plastic sector, one is in the wood sector, and the third one is in the leather sector. But what does these pilots are actually doing? What is their scope? And as Anastasia has already introduced, our scope is to improve the circularity, acting both at the level of the products and at the level of the value chains, because we think that circularity can be achieved only when we operate at the level of the value chain, using a digital space, which is the Circuloos data platform, and some modular tools that has just been presented that can be aggregated to improve the performances of the pilots and to assess their sustainability impact. So going a little bit more in detail of these three pilots. The first one, as I said, is in the plastic component sector. And it is about recycling these plastic parts that are collected. We have three partners that have come together to introduce a supply chain that is capable to do so. You can also look, because I think your interest is in how can we extend those pilots to make an application to the open call. So you can see it also from the our strategies perspective, see how you can contribute to fulfilling the circularity approach in the pilot. So it can be at the level of how to recycle those plastic parts, how to create supply chains that make use of these plastic scraps or wastes into making new products for users. So this is a little bit more detailed. So you can see that basically we have three partners in this pilot. The first one is Thermolympic. Thermolympic is producing plastic components for mostly for the automotive sector. They don't at the beginning of this pilot they were not considering the reuse of their own plastic scraps, for example, or the use of recycled plastics in general, because the automotive sector is very specific concerning the quality and performance of the plastic that is used. And together with them in this pilot, we have Contenedores Lolo, which are basically producing recycling plastics and producing recycled plastic granulate. And their scope is to increase the say the performances and the quality of their products. To do so, we have Canonical Robotics, who is a third party providing a robotic and vision system application that allows to determine the characteristics of plastics to be recycled and to sort them in order to have a more predictable outcome of the recycling process. The second pilot, going rapidly, is in the wood sector, is located in the Netherlands. The main scope is to cover the whole value chain from the tree to the construction of panels and then wooden furniture. I skip this. We have three partners inside this pilot as well. Planet is a company that is monitoring and managing urban trees, basically. They are connected with the municipalities that are responsible for these trees, and in case there is availability, because it can be because of some kind of illness in the trees or because of bad weather causing problems with the trees, they can retrieve those the wood from these trees, and instead of sending it to waste or incineration, they provide a high quality wood for other partners like Erso, which is the second partner here. Erso is a wood manufacturer and furniture manufacturer that uses only waste material, only waste wood. It can be from Planet, it can be from other sources, to make first wood panels, even for the construction industry, and then to make or in parallel wood furniture from this recycled wood. And finally, we have Circulieren. Circulieren is a partner that is making use of this recycled wood coming from Erson and other sources to make wooden houses or even more complex projects and customized projects like pavilions for exhibitions using this kind of wood. And again, here, there is potential to enlarge and broaden the scope of this pilot, thinking, for example, what happens when this exhibition ends, and then what can be done with the residual furniture or residual wood from the installation. So you have options to think of in order to increase the scope of the pilot. The last one is the leather pilot. This is located in Hungary. We have two partners here, and I also have seen a question in the chat. Some people were asking, can we do? We are in the textile industry, for example, but this is just an example, okay? Can we participate in the open call, extended cross-sectorial? I mean, my answer is cross-sectorial. Open calls are good. I think if we can find a way, a meaningful way that provides benefit by crossing different sectors, that's very good. So what do we do here in this pilot? We basically have Moto Textile, which is a company making leather products of a considerable size. Think of a bag, for example. And they obviously have scraps out of this production that are in the pilot used by DNA, which is another company focused on smaller accessories still made of leather. That is reusing the waste coming from the processes of Moto Textile. So one other idea here is the development of a marketplace to resell possibly this waste material coming from the artisanal production process, so that instead of going to incineration and having to retain further leather for the production of these leather goods, we can use, or other companies can use in the ecosystem, recycled or say scrap leather to produce their own goods. So this was very brief overview of the pilot. In case you have questions, let's see them in the Q&A and then I can answer, or further on you can contact our project to get even more information.